Listen, real talk for a second. What if I told you that in just 3 minutes, you could make a woman feel closer to you than people who've known her for years? No tricks, no rehearsed lines, no pretending to be someone you're not. Just 3 simple shifts that most people completely overlook. And here's the part that usually surprises people the most. It has nothing to do with your looks, your money, or your sense of humor. Stay with me, because the final shift quietly changes everything in a way most never expect. Here's something people don't say out loud nearly enough. Real connection doesn't come from being impressive. It doesn't come from saying the perfect thing at the perfect time. It doesn't even come from confidence in the way most people think about it. What truly matters is something far more subtle: your presence. The feeling someone experiences when you are fully there with them. Not halfway listening, not distracted, not performing, just there. And I want you to really pause and think about this for a moment. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone was technically present but something felt off? Maybe they were nodding, maybe they were responding, but you could feel their attention drifting. You didn't feel fully seen, you didn't feel relaxed. Now think about the opposite, that rare moment when someone gave you their full attention. No phone, no rushing, no hidden agenda, just calm, focused presence. How did that feel? Grounding, safe, almost magnetic. And if you've ever experienced that, I want you to tell me in the comments. When was the last time someone made you feel truly heard? Because the truth is, most people are starving for that experience without even realizing it. And when you begin to offer it, even in small ways, you stand out immediately. Not loudly, but deeply. I'm Mary Smith, host of Senior Mindful Living YouTube channel. And here, we explore the psychology of connection in a way that's practical, grounded, and deeply human. Because this isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about understanding what actually makes people feel safe, seen, and emotionally connected. Now, let's go deeper. Because this isn't about manipulation or tricks. It's about understanding what actually makes people feel safe, seen, and emotionally connected. Now, let's go deeper. Most men walk into conversations already divided internally. They're thinking ahead, planning what to say next, trying to impress, trying to avoid awkwardness. And here's the reality. She can feel that instantly. Humans are incredibly sensitive to emotional cues. Even when we can't explain it logically, we pick up on subtle signals. A distracted mind creates a subtle tension, and tension creates distance. But when you shift into full presence, everything changes. Imagine this. You're sitting across from someone. Your phone isn't just face down, it's completely out of reach. Your eyes are relaxed, not intense, not scanning, just attentive. Your posture is open. Your energy is calm. Without saying a word, you're communicating something powerful. Right now, you matter. That alone is rare. And rare things naturally attract. There's actually a psychological principle behind this called emotional attunement. It's the brain's way of scanning for safety. We're constantly asking, subconsciously, am I safe here? Am I valued here? And when your presence is undivided, it answers both questions instantly. Let me give you a real-life example. I once worked with a client who struggled deeply with dating. He wasn't unattractive, he wasn't awkward, but women described him as hard to connect with. When we looked closer, the issue wasn't what he was saying, it was how he was showing up. He was always thinking ahead, always trying to manage the interaction. So I gave him one simple exercise. For his next conversation, he wasn't allowed to plan anything. His only job was to be fully present. A week later, he came back almost surprised. He said, "For the first time, she actually opened up to me, and I didn't do anything special." That's the point. Presence is the foundation. Now let's make this practical. In that first minute of any interaction, your only goal is presence. Not performance, not impressing, presence. Put your phone away completely. Not nearby, not just in case, completely away. Make eye contact, but soften it. Think warmth, not intensity. Let your body language reflect ease, slight lean, relaxed shoulders, open posture. And most importantly, slow down. You don't need to rush. These might sound like small details, but psychologically, they send powerful signals. I'm here, I'm listening, you matter. And in a world where most people are distracted, this feels different, refreshing, almost disarming. Now here's where things start to shift in a deeper way. As the conversation moves into the second minute, something interesting happens. Most people begin to feel pressure pressure to be interesting, funny, impressive, and this is exactly where connection begins to weaken. Because real connection doesn't come from talking more, it comes from listening better. And I want you to sit with that for a second. Most people don't actually listen, they wait. They wait for their turn to speak. They prepare their response while the other person is still talking. And even if it's subtle, it creates a disconnect. But when you truly listen, something changes. So instead of trying to be interesting, shift into being interested. That one shift changes everything. Ask something real. Not surface-level questions like, "How was your day?" because those usually lead to automatic responses. Instead, try something like, "What's been on your mind lately? What's something that's been exciting you recently? What do you find yourself thinking about when you have quiet moments?" These questions open emotional doors. And when she starts to answer, this is where your restraint matters. Don't interrupt. Don't jump in. Don't turn it back to yourself too quickly. Just listen. Let her finish her thoughts. Let there be small pauses. Let her feel space, because that space is where connection grows. And here's where most people unintentionally break that connection. She shares something meaningful, and almost immediately the response becomes, "Oh yeah, that reminds me of when I..." And just like that, the focus shifts. The emotional thread gets interrupted. Instead, stay with her experience. Reflect what you heard, not in a robotic way, but naturally. For example, if she says she's been feeling overwhelmed with work, instead of jumping into your own story, you might say, "That sounds like a lot to carry," especially if it's been building up for a while. What you're doing there is something incredibly powerful. You're validating her emotional experience. And validation is one of the strongest drivers of trust. Let me share a quick story. A woman once described 2 different dates she went on. The first man was charismatic, funny, said all the right things, but she said something felt off. The second man was quieter, less flashy, but he listened deeply. He asked thoughtful questions. He didn't rush her. And she said, "I don't even remember exactly what we talked about, Malik, but I remember how I felt. I felt calm. I felt understood." Guess which one she wanted to see again? That's the difference. That's the difference. Now we move into the 3rd minute, the moment where everything either deepens or fades. This is where authenticity comes in. And I want to be clear here. Authenticity doesn't mean oversharing your entire life story. It doesn't mean forcing vulnerability. It means something much simpler, being real in the moment. If something surprises you, let it show. If you don't understand something, ask honestly. If you feel a little nervous, you don't have to hide it behind a mask. There's something quietly powerful about someone who can say, "I'll be honest, I wasn't sure what to expect, but I'm really enjoying this conversation." That kind of honesty creates trust instantly. Why? Because it removes the performance. And here's the deeper psychology behind it. That kind of honesty creates trust instantly. Why? Because it removes the performance. And here's the deeper psychology behind it. Humans naturally mirror each other emotionally. It's called emotional mirroring. When one person relaxes, the other follows. When one person is real, the other feels permission to be real. So when you stop performing, she stops performing. And that's when the conversation shifts from surface level to meaningful. You'll notice it when it happens. The pauses feel comfortable, the eye contact feels natural, the conversation flows without effort. But here's something important. You cannot fake this. Authenticity isn't a technique, it's a decision. It's the decision to stop trying to control how you're perceived. And yes, that comes with a risk. Not everyone will connect with you. Not everyone will respond the way you hope. But that's not failure. That's clarity. Because real connection is selective. It's not meant to happen with everyone. Now let's take this one layer deeper, because this is where things become truly powerful. Connection isn't just built through words. It's built in the spaces between them. Pay attention to tone, timing, energy shifts. For example, when she talks about something she's passionate about, her tone changes. It becomes lighter, more animated. That's emotional investment. Lean into that. Let her continue. Show interest without interrupting. On the other hand, if her tone softens, if there's a pause, if her words slow down, that often signals something deeper. Maybe vulnerability. Maybe something she's not used to expressing. And this is where most people make a mistake. They rush to fill the silence. But what if you didn't? What if you allowed that moment to exist? What if you stayed calm, grounded, present, without needing to fix it? Silence, when held with presence, doesn't create awkwardness, it creates depth. Silence, when handled with presence, doesn't create awkwardness, it creates depth. It communicates something powerful without words. You don't have to rush here, you can be yourself. And that's rare. Another subtle layer is emotional alignment. This means matching the emotional tone of the moment, not copying, but aligning. If she's excited, meet her with energy. If she's reflective, soften your tone. If she's sharing something meaningful, stay with that depth. This creates emotional harmony, and humans are naturally drawn to harmony. Now let's bring everything together. Presence makes her feel seen. Curiosity makes her feel understood. Authenticity makes her feel safe. And when someone feels all three, connection becomes effortless, not forced, not scripted, just natural. Then observe. Don't force an outcome. Just notice the shift. And if you're serious about improving your connections, write this in the comments right now. I choose presence. Minute 1, full presence, no distractions. Minute 2, genuine curiosity. Ask one meaningful question. Minute 3, authenticity. Say something real. Then observe. Don't force an outcome. Just notice the shift. And if you're serious about improving your connections, write this in the comments right now. I choose presence. Not for me, for yourself, because awareness becomes real the moment you act on it. Now as we close, remember this. People won't remember your exact words. They won't replay your jokes or your stories. They'll remember how they felt around you. Did they feel rushed or relaxed? Judged or accepted? Did they feel like they had to perform, or could they just be themselves? That's what stays. So don't underestimate what a few real minutes can do. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer someone isn't something you say, it's your presence, your curiosity, your authenticity. And when you bring those together, people don't just hear you, they feel you. And that's what they remember. And here's where most people unknowingly weaken the very connection they just started building. She shares something meaningful, something real, and almost instantly the response becomes, "Oh yeah, that reminds me of when I..." And just like that, the focus shifts away from her experience and back onto you. It seems harmless, it even feels natural, but psychologically, it interrupts emotional flow. Instead, stay with her. Let her experience breathe. Let it exist without rushing to relate it back to yourself. You can respond in a way that shows you're truly listening, not just waiting your turn. Something as simple as, "That sounds like it really stayed with you," or "I can hear how much that meant to you," creates a completely different emotional impact. What you're doing in that moment is validating, not fixing, not redirecting, not competing, just understanding. And validation is powerful. There was a woman I once spoke to who described 2 conversations she had within the same week. In the first, the man was engaging, confident, even charming. But every time she shared something, he redirected it back to himself. She said she left feeling strangely invisible. In the second conversation, the man spoke less, but listened more. He stayed present. He didn't rush her thoughts. And afterward, she said something that stayed with me. "I don't remember everything we talked about, but I remember how easy it felt to be myself." That's what you're creating here. Not attraction based on performance, but connection based on experience. Now we move into the third shift, and this is where everything either deepens or quietly fades away. This is where you stop trying to be impressive and start being real, authenticity. And I know that word gets used a lot. It's almost become background noise. But very few people actually understand what it looks like in real conversations. Authenticity isn't about oversharing, it isn't about forcing vulnerability, and it definitely isn't about saying everything that comes to your mind. It's about something much simpler and much more powerful. It's about being honest in the moment. If something she says genuinely surprises you, let that show. If you don't fully understand something, ask without pretending you do. If you feel slightly nervous, you don't have to hide it behind forced confidence. You can acknowledge it calmly, without making it a big deal. There's something deeply grounding about someone who doesn't feel the need to pretend. And here's why that matters. Perfection creates distance. When someone feels like you're always polished, always saying the right thing, always in control, it can actually make them feel slightly tense, like they're being evaluated, like they have to keep up. But authenticity does the opposite. It creates permission. permission for her to relax, permission for her to be imperfect, permission for her to stop performing, and that's where connection deepens. Let me paint a simple comparison. In one interaction, someone is smooth, confident, always saying the right thing, but everything feels slightly rehearsed. There's no obvious flaw, but there's also no real depth. In another interaction, the person is present, attentive, and when they don't know something, they admit it. When something interests them, they express it naturally. There's no pressure to impress. Which one feels more real? Which one feels more comfortable? Which one would you want to continue? This is where emotional mirroring begins to take over. When you relax into authenticity, the other person subconsciously follows. When you stop performing, they stop performing. And suddenly, the conversation shifts. The pauses feel natural, not awkward. The eye contact feels effortless, not forced. The energy becomes lighter, but also deeper. And here's the truth most people miss. Connection doesn't come from control, it comes from honesty. Now, there's another layer here that's even more subtle, but incredibly powerful once you notice it. Connection is built just as much in what isn't said as in what is. Pay attention to tone, to pacing, to the small emotional shifts that happen underneath the words. When she talks about something she loves, you'll notice her energy lift. Her voice becomes more expressive. Her words come faster, more alive. That's emotional engagement, and when you recognize that and simply allow her to continue, without interrupting, without redirecting, you amplify that feeling. Now she's not just talking, she's feeling something while talking to you. The feeling someone experiences when you are fully there with them, not halfway listening, not distracted, not performing, just there. That often signals something deeper. Maybe uncertainty, maybe vulnerability, maybe something she doesn't usually share easily. And this is where most people make a critical mistake. They rush to fill the silence, they change the topic, they try to lighten the mood too quickly. They move away from the depth because it feels uncomfortable. But what if you didn't? What if you allowed that moment to exist? What if you stayed calm, grounded, present, without needing to fix it? Silence, when held with presence, doesn't create awkwardness. It creates depth. It communicates something powerful without saying it directly. You don't have to rush here. You're safe to be yourself. And that feeling is rare. Now let's talk about emotional alignment. This is your ability to match the emotional tone of the moment. Not mimic it, not copy it, but align with it. If she's excited, meet her with genuine energy. If she's reflective, slow down and soften your tone. If she's sharing something meaningful, stay with that depth instead of trying to shift it. This creates emotional harmony, and humans are naturally drawn to harmony. When there's alignment, the interaction feels easy, natural, right. When there isn't, even if everything else seems fine, something feels off. And that's rare. Another subtle layer is emotional alignment. This means matching the emotional tone of the moment, not copying, but aligning. That moment isn't random. That's what happens when presence, curiosity, and authenticity align at the same time. But here's what most people don't realize. That moment is fragile, not weak, but sensitive. If you break presence, it fades. If you shift back into performance, it weakens. If you stop listening, it disappears. Presence makes her feel seen. Curiosity makes her feel understood. Authenticity makes her feel safe. People don't replay your exact words. They replay how they felt around you. Did they feel rushed or relaxed? Did they feel judged or accepted? Did they feel like they had to perform? Or could they just be themselves? That's what lingers. And here's the truth most people overlook. If someone consistently feels good in your presence, they will want more of it. Not because you impressed them, but because you gave them something rare, genuine connection. So the next time you find yourself in a conversation, don't ask, "What should I say?" Ask yourself 3 simple questions instead. Am I fully here right now? Am I genuinely curious about this person? Am I being real? Or am I performing? Those 3 questions will guide you better than any script ever could. And over time, something shifts. You stop overthinking. You stop analyzing every word. You stop trying to manage the interaction, and you start experiencing it. That's when connection becomes effortless. Now, before you go, I want you to take one small step. Think about your next conversation. whether it's later today, tomorrow, or sometime this week. What's one thing you're going to do differently? Drop it in the comments, because the moment you say it, it becomes real. Now, before you go, I want you to take one small step. Think about your next conversation, whether it's later today, tomorrow, or sometime this week. What's one thing you're going to do differently? Drop it in the comments, because the moment you say it, it becomes real. And if this resonated with you, take a second to like the video, not just to support the channel, but as a signal to yourself that this is something you want to practice. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because this is just the beginning of understanding how connection, attraction, and human behavior actually work beneath the surface. And remember this: sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer someone isn't something you say. It's your presence, your attention, your willingness to be real. Because when you bring those together, people don't just hear you, they feel you. And that's what they remember.